Hello there.
Welcome back, my friend.
Hello, what have we here?
Jedi, we've been expecting you.
Knew I could count on you.
Hello.
Welcome to the rebellion.
What fun!
Hey everyone, Hybrid here, and today we are taking a look at the brand new Star Wars The Black Series, Maul, as he appears in Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord. What an excellent series. I had so much fun with this. You know, Star Wars TV, hit or miss, right? Generally, I think the majority of it is a hit, but Shadow Lord, I never had any doubts about. Between Dave Filoni making sure that we always get excellent animation out of the Star Wars crew, and Sam Witwer being the Star Wars guru, I had no doubts that this show was going to be excellent. And here we are at the conclusion of the first season with no action figures that I'm passing on. That is a very good sign. So anyway, this figure's very cool. It is in the standard Black Series packaging. Another red version of the Galaxy packaging. What are you going to do? Let's go ahead and take a closer look at that packaging before diving into the figure and see if this is one for you. And here's Maul in the packaging. Let's take a quick look at said packaging before getting him out. You have your Black Series logo above a big window showing him and his accessories off nicely. Maul Shadow Lord in red. He's figure number 1, being the titular, not hero, anti-hero. Let's go with anti-hero. Maul being his name. Warning 4+ Hasbro. Inside of the box features some really cool artwork of him with his lightsaber all lit up, his name below that. This side features your wraparound window, wraparound red stripe, and your Black Series logo below all that. You have a zoom into that side art, a Black Series logo, and a bio about the show in 5 different languages. Pause and read whichever language best applies to you. And then again, once more, number 1 in the line, you got some Disney and Hasbro logos, and then a ton of legal garb, more legal garb below with a barcode and a hanger tab up top. Very standard Hasbro action figure packaging. If you've ever messed with a Black Series box, you know what you're getting here. Let's open them up and see what's going on. Alright, here we have Shadow Lord Maul out of the packaging. Let's go ahead and take a close look at his accessories. As far as accessories, he just comes with his double-bladed lightsaber. Now, Clone Wars versions and Phantom Menace versions, I would have said, gosh, why can't they package it with the lightsaber put together in the box, and then just take a blade off instead of having 2, like half sabers? Because, gosh, I have had so many of these plugged together saber staffs get bendy in the middle and stuff. But Shadow Lord now has shown that Maul actually, this new saber staff he has, can be broken into 2 single-bladed lightsabers. So, that's a feature at this point that's actually being used. Hasbro's bullied, Lucasfilm into just putting it on screen, right? Thankfully, it's not like there's a gaudy, ginormous peg going on here that will make it, obvious when you're that when you're having them like dual wield. That I don't know. I don't like that. I'm okay with them pegging together, but gosh, that is like a 1/4 inch, like post sticking out there, and I don't get it because to bring in the prior Clone Wars Maul, again, same lightsaber from the Clone Wars Season 7 Maul, and, don't get me wrong, it had a peg on it, but, I don't know, this new one is, a lot more substantial. So, we're going to go ahead and set that aside back with our Clone Wars Maul, but anyway, these do post peg together so. They have some very nice red blades, I guess, to compare to that Clone Wars one. Those are a little bit of a darker. These are a little bit more of a bright red. So that's nice. The blades are removable, as is typical for a Black Series lightsaber. And then something I don't like on this, and the peg on the Phantom Menace half of his lightsaber is where the long peg is. So they made a new, at least that half of the hilt, and they didn't fix this. The peg to peg onto his belt is so low down the hilt that when you try to put it on, you see, to put it straight up and down, the saber actually hits his belt and his thigh before it's actually in. The only way he can carry it is if you swing it to the back, and then he's not holding it up and down as gravity would allow it. On my Clone Wars one, I actually cut the peg off, and then I glued it higher up near the emitter there. And it's just a modification that we shouldn't have to make. So, lightsaber frustrations. Looking at Maul otherwise, He has this very awesome soft goods cape going on. In the show, I believe he really only wears it like once or twice. It's complementary to the season 7 figure otherwise, because this figure is a lot of reuse. But it is nice to get that soft goods cape. Notably, Vintage Collection did not. I know those people are mad about that. I wouldn't understand the struggle. Collect the superior line, right? I'm joking. Collect whatever you want to collect. But, anyway, we do get the soft goods cloak. It lays rather nicely. It does cover his right arm a lot, with not really a whole lot of access to that, unless you, like, pose it and then bunch it up over that, which is fine. It's, soft goods give you that ability. The cape does lay fairly nice over his head. Let's see about down. It does like to spring up. But let's be fair. If you're having him wear the cloak, you're having him, like, hooded. If you want to take the hood off, just pull it over his head like so, and throw it off to the side. And here we have a refresh of that Season 7 Clone Wars Maul. And I gotta say, he looks really good. However, I do want to call out an inaccuracy. The legs. In Shadow Lord, Maul actually is wearing some boots that cover his prosthetics. So they, again, from the knees up, could have reused this. They should have done new shins and feet. I don't know if that was a very last-second design choice, or if just somehow they didn't catch it. I noticed that Hot Toys got it right, and they released the figure, at least promo shots at about the same time that this is coming out. So I'd like to think that everyone had the same amount of notice on it, and it just got missed on Hasbro, which is unfortunate. But other than that, I'm bringing in that Season 7 Maul. Very, very similar paint hits, right? You got, like, the gauntlets are more of a black instead of a darker gray. The legs are way shinier, which, I mean, they look nicer than the Season 7 one, even though they're supposed to be covered up. And then the camera is making it look not so obvious, but in person, the new one is a brighter red on the exposed tattoos on the chest and face. There is some very subtle differences in the deco. Some of the facial tattoos are a touch thicker. The eyes, I'm noticing on the old one, very good yellow Sith eyes. These ones almost have a touch of green in them. That's interesting. I don't believe that to be correct. But, you put them back a little bit, they're still very Sith looking, so I'm not upset. Ultimately, this gives me a version to put on the Shadow Lord shelf and leave this version on a Clone Wars shelf. It's a very good figure. It was one of the best figures in the Clone Wars lineup overall, and I really don't have anything bad to say about the overall sculpt. So it's nice to see it refreshed, and the show, left him in the same outfit minus the boots, because it's just a really cool outfit. I do like it. I like the exposed chest going on, showing the Zabrak tattoos. The head sculpt is the same as the Clone Wars one, with just the gritted teeth expression. I like the shoulder pads are on the pegs into the shoulders, kind of like the Clone Trooper and Stormtrooper armor is now. The brown fabric kind of bodysuit looks very, very nice. And just spinning around, nice little pouch on the belt, and little buttons and bits and bobs going on, and a little implication of the tunics in the front. They don't hang down front, far like a lot of the Jedi ones do. Similar gloves to Clone Wars Anakin, though, except they have the silver buckles on the outside. Once more, I do really like the silver they used on the legs. To be honest, I don't even think it's paint. I think it's that silver plastic that they used on, like, Jango Fett and Starkiller, or Lord Starkiller. So, like, it just has a very nice shine to it. It looks very metallic in person, so, like, I think it turned out really, really nice. Again, it's just not totally accurate to the show, unfortunately. But very good action figure, a familiar one. And you know what? Something like this, considering his appearance in the show is so similar to Clone Wars, I wasn't expecting a head-to-toe redo. This is a very good figure for the time it came out. This is acceptable reuse to me. So, let's go ahead and buzz through some articulation. It has been a minute since we've had this figure out. I reviewed him back in the day. Pretty sure, what was that, 2022? So it's like a 3 or 4 year old sculpt, but like, again, it's fine. It's a good figure. He has that ball at the bottom and the top of the neck going on, allowing him to look up that far at most. He can bury his chin, he can rotate his head, get all sorts of that Maul attitude out of that side-to-side pose. Arms come up to like a T pose, even a little bit higher, which is nice. As I mentioned, the shoulder pads can rotate with the arm because they are on the ring in there. There is a nice butterfly joint in there, allowing the arm to rock pretty forward and back. Single jointed elbows, but they go way past 90, which is nice, and then they swivel at the elbow. 360 at the wrist. with the vertical hinges on either side. That's a very nice feature for a Darth Maul. I know nowadays they would just do the ball-jointed wrists, and those aren't bad, but the vertical wrists are the superior version of a hinged wrist if you're going to have a hinged wrist. He has a dual abdomen articulation. He's got like a pivot up there and then at the waist itself. Did the old one have that? Yeah, it did. Okay. That was a bit of an abnormal thing. We didn't always get two articulations in the waist, so it's a little bit hidden in there, but combining them so you can get it to gap just a little bit. But you can lean that far back, which is nice. You can get them to crunch that far forward, also good. Then, of course, your swivel is going to be more at the waist, but both of them can swivel. The legs can do a pretty good split. They can kick pretty far forward, tiny bit back. There's an upper thigh rotation, so it must be a good figure. Some think that the line has ended since they took that away. I think it's an improvement. The single jointed knees go 290. They're a little bit clunky with the leg design, but they look good. Swivel at the knee, of course, straightening it back up. The feet can point pretty far down, pretty far forward, and there's a forward-facing pin for rocker, allowing you to get him into some decently wide stances with both feet flat on the ground. And again, this mold is a couple years old, so we've probably all seen some photos of him in some poses. This guy can pose. So here's Maul with some other Shadow Lord figures, and I think they scale relatively nice together. No one in this show is super tall, other than, well, I guess, Vader at this point. Everyone knows he was in it. That's not even a spoiler. Quit crying. But, yeah, Darth Maul, not the tallest guy. Devin Azara, definitely not the tallest gal. And Rook Cast, I don't know, I guess average girl height. I think they work together fairly well. But yeah, Maul looks pretty good here. Oh, man. End of the day, what do I think of Shadow Lord Maul? What a great figure. Don't get me wrong, the inaccuracy, the lack of boots bothers me. But look at him all posed up wearing that cloak. That's just aura. The Clone Wars Maul figure is a great base body. It's one that I wish had more potential for reuse, just because it articulates well and it looks really good. You know, probably he was pretty beat up by the end of the first season of the show. He's probably going to have a new fit in Season 2, so hopefully we get as equally good a figure of that going forward. The lightsaber has some frustrations, but ultimately put it in saber staff mode, pose him with it. You know, the belt clip, you're probably not posing Maul wearing his hilt on his belt. You're probably posing him doing cool stuff like this. The genuine only frustration is the boots. I'm sure there's going to be some third-party mods, you know, that come out, whether someone is selling custom lower legs that you can buy, or someone saying, you know, cut it off in the middle of the calf and swap it with this person's boots, whatever the story may be. If something very interesting comes up, I will look at it on the channel, of course. But do I recommend them? Gosh, despite the couple of inaccuracies, I do. You know, if you have a Clone Wars Maul already, you might just be suited posing them up without the cloak. If you want the cloak, you could surely find something third-party on Etsy for a couple of bucks, probably cheaper than buying another figure. But it's a good figure to pose. If you're going to do a separate Shadow Lord shelf from your Clone Wars shelf, you could have two Mauls. I don't think it's a bad figure in any way, but I like it. I like it a lot. I highly recommend it. So, kind of know what you're getting into if you have the original figure, just a couple of little sprucing up changes. But, yeah, a very good figure all the same. Anyways, I'm going to go. I recommend it. That's my verdict, so I'm going to go work on something else now. Thank you for hanging out, watching the video. I appreciate you. I will catch you in the comments and in the next video and all of them after this. There's a lot of Shadow Lord coming up. So, until next time, may the Force be with you, and I will catch you next time.